Timing is everything, and you are in the right spot at the right time because you are now tuned into the show where you learn to define and achieve success, to create authentic power, the show that gives you a new angle, a new perspective on all things personal growth. Welcome to the Sprouting Success Podcast. My name is Remy Ellis. I'm your host today and every day. Today's topic is self-reliance, your greatest weapon. Now, I got the idea for today's topic when I was thinking about certain adjustments and mental tools that anyone can use to give themselves an advantage in life. And the great thing about today's topic is that self-reliance is something that you can develop for yourself, but not only that, it's something that no one can take away from you, even if they try. Let's get a quick definition of self-reliance to help set the stage for today's episode. Self-reliance is a quality of depending on yourself for things instead of relying on others. Now, that's a pretty broad definition, but as we get into our points today, we'll build that out a bit. There's a few different examples and aspects of self-reliance we can lay out ahead of point number one. I think that self-reliance begins with thinking independently, trusting yourself over others, embracing your individuality, being bold in your own life as you strive towards your own goals. So let's get into all that right now. Once again, today's topic is self-reliance, your greatest weapon. Point number one. Being self-sufficient is a prerequisite for success. It makes sense that before you can achieve at the highest level, before you can become the most evolved, most impactful and purposeful version of yourself, you'll need to create that energy and version of you through trusting yourself over other people, through thinking independently, going all in on yourself, and embracing your individuality. Remember, back in episode 1, we spoke about defining success and success being relative, meaning different things for different people. If you haven't heard episode 1, I recommend you go listen to that episode, pause this one, then come back to this one after you listen to it. If you aren't self-reliant and self-sufficient, you'll have a hard time creating a personal definition and image of success because other people's ideas and wishes will be forced upon you. You'll be at the mercy of other people, and that's not a position you want to be in for very long, if ever. Depending on other people is a really slippery slope, and I would advise you take caution when placing your trust and your fate in the hands of another person, because we are all self-motivated and self-serving. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I actually think that's a good thing, but I just want to make sure you know the rules to this game that we're all playing. Everyone is looking out for themselves. Everyone is thinking about number one. So when you depend on another person for something, keep in mind their life, their problems, their obligations and responsibilities, that's all coming before you. As it should. Take caution when you're depending on others, and remember, the habit of relying on other people compounds over time. For example, let's say I ask you for a favor. My car broke down. It's in the shop getting some work done. I need a ride to the grocery store. You say, no problem. You're my dog. Of course I'll give you a ride to the store. Well, a week goes by, and now I'm out of food. My car's still in the shop. I call you up. I say, hey, listen, sorry to bother you. Still don't have my car back. Any chance I could get a lift? You say, sure, you might be a little reluctant this time, but I'm your friend. You give me the benefit of the doubt. Now, I do that 2 or 3 more times over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I've now conditioned myself to rely on you for transportation. And at this point, I don't even care that my car is in the shops. The parts are on back order. I don't even know what's going on, but I don't care because my friend is so nice and kind. They'll always have my back. They'll always give me a ride. Now, out of that example, that may have been a bit exaggerated, perhaps, but the point remains. If relying on someone else becomes habitual for you, you're now at the mercy of that other person. Someone whose problems are not your problems, someone who is not focused on taking care of you. The more you can provide for yourself, the less you'll need to rely and depend on other people. And the less you need to depend and rely on other people, the more you will inherently depend on yourself. It's somewhat a cycle in that sense. You want to be totally dependent on yourself because that will light the fire within you. You'll quickly see that if you aren't making it happen for yourself, there's no safety net, there's nobody holding your hand, it's all on you, which is exciting. Point number 2, leveraging independence creates power. Now, at the open of this show, I talk about creating authentic power, a certain energy in your life that will help you get to where you want to get, help you move obstacles out of your way. What does that exactly look like, and how do I create authentic power? Something that's coming from a real place, something that's sustainable, repeatable, you might ask yourself. When you can solve problems and make decisions on your own without the help or assistance from other people, that creates power. The less reliant you are on other people, the more you grow to trust yourself and your abilities, the more you'll want to be independent and the better you'll be on your own. You might be saying at this point, okay, I get that being self-reliant is a good thing to learn how to do, but do I really need to cut out every support system in my life? Can I really not rely on anyone, my friends, my family? Is that what you're saying? To answer that question, I'll revisit the point I made that human beings are inherently self-motivated. So there's not a single person on this planet that thinks about you and your well-being as much as you do. And there's no one that's as invested in your success and your goals as you. There's no one that will think about you as much as you think about you. Knowing this and accepting this, putting yourself first is not only the smart thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. And look, I rely on other people for things in my life, but I know at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I'm the one that's responsible for my life, not anyone else. That's true independence. Knowing what areas you're dependent on other people and being okay knowing that it could all disappear in an instant, and I'll need to find a solution if that happens. When you're in control of your life, other people pick up on that energy from you and will respect you as someone that's bold, someone that's solid, and someone you don't want to make an enemy of. Not only does independence breed courage for you and admiration from others, but it also puts you in a position where people can't let you down or slow you down. When you're calling all the shots, if a mistake happens, that's all on you, and you have to deal with that and eat that. If you're just concerned with yourself and your happiness, you'll develop tunnel vision that blocks out externalities like the feelings and wants of other people. It's up for you to decide if that's what you want. Point number 3, self-reliance makes others rely on you. This point builds well on point number 2 because as you leverage your own independence and create power through self-reliance, that organically makes other people rely on you. When you develop a reputation as someone that's self-sufficient, capable, strong, that will naturally lead people that are reliant on other people to gravitate towards you. Because the less you need something, the more available it will be to you. This includes people, right? Think of the bank. The bank will loan you anything when you already have the money, but if you're broke, it'll be tougher to get that loan. The less you need the money, the more you're actually likely to get it. Energy works like this too, and so do people. If you conduct yourself in a manner that expresses, I don't need anything from you, people will magnetize towards you and offer to support and help you. As you showcase to the world that you don't need anyone or anything, windows of opportunity will open for you, doors will open in your path, and you'll find yourself holding the pen that writes your story. I want you to be holding the pen that's writing your life story. Don't you? Recapping today's topic, which is self-reliance, your greatest weapon. Point number 1, being self-sufficient is a prerequisite for success. Before you can become the most elevated, developed version of yourself, you'll need to go all in on you, relying on yourself more than other people, deciding for yourself what your life will look like. Point number 2, leveraging independence creates power. Use your comfort with being alone and being self-reliant to your advantage, and leverage this newfound tunnel vision to focus on yourself and your goals. And point number 3, self-reliance makes others rely on you. The less you need something, the more available it will be to you. That's some food for thought. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Until next time, stay well.